So we just got some okra in, and I'm going to clean it, and we're going to blanch it and put it in the freezer. We love fresh vegetables, so we put up okra, peas, corn. I wash it, pretty much do a lot of it by myself, but my husband helps me a lot, and my children, when they were home, that was not their favorite thing to do. This okra has different sizes, so the smaller, they're a little more tender than the bigger pieces, but the bigger ones, if you run into one that's kind of hard and let me see if this one's a little bit, this one's actually pretty soft, but if it's too crunchy feeling when you slice through it, I just throw it away, because when you go to cook it, it's going to taste real fibery and tough. So I didn't have to pick this okra. This was actually already picked, and we just paid for it. My dad was the one that brought it to me. He calls me up at work today and he says, "Do you want some okra? 5-gallon bucket." I was like, "Yeah, I do." Because we want to put it up in the freezer so we'll have it. And because you can't really, okra is very expensive. I don't know how it is where y'all live, but around here down south, it can be pretty expensive even at the farmer's market. So I had already washed this, and so I've just been cutting the stems and the ends off. So we love okra. We love to put up fresh vegetables every year. My husband was raised that way, so was I. I did not pick this. Okra is really hard to pick. If you've ever done it or you know anything about it, you really have to wear long sleeves and you have to wear pants, because the leaves on the okra bushes, they will eat you up. Feels like thorn bushes almost, or fiberglass. So he brought me probably about a 5-gallon bucket, so it's 2 big bowls of of okra. So what we do is I wash it. You don't want to wash it after you cut it because it's a slimy mess. So I wash it really good first. I've just got some stems or something in here, but I washed it already, and then cut it up. And then if you want to blanch it, now this piece is hard, so like if the knife doesn't go through it very easy, I just throw that away, because otherwise it's going to be tough when you cook it, and it's going to taste like a piece of bark. Oh, I started cutting that up. So I cut the stems off, the ends and the stems, and then I cut it, I dice it. And then you don't necessarily have to blanch it if you're gonna eat it within like a 3-month period, 3 to 6 months. And we eat a lot of okra, so I probably wouldn't have to blanch this, but I think I am gonna blanch some of it just in case. The reason you wanna blanch it is to just kill all the bacteria, so that way when you put it in the freezer, you don't have any issues later on when you thaw it out to cook it. So to blanch it, we just dice it, we cut it up in slices and then put it on a pan and put it on like 300, maybe 350, and cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes, just enough to get it hot through and through. And then take it out, let it cool. And once it cools down, then you can put it in your freezer Ziploc bags. This is really pretty okra. When I was a girl, my mom, she used to take these little ones and she would make pickled okra. Oh man, that was the best stuff. It was kind of like dill pickles, and I used to love them. And then I don't care for boiled okra, but mom would take it whenever she would fix peas, and she would boil okra in the peas and they would eat it. but it was really slimy, so I didn't like it that way. I learned to cook it down from my husband's mother. I watched her and how she cooked it, and she would take bacon grease, which I know everybody says is not healthy, but she would take bacon grease, salt and pepper it really good, and then cook it and fry it until it almost looks, you don't want to burn it, but it looks dark, almost blackened. And when you do that, oh my goodness. My daddy used to say it makes you want to slap your mama. So I usually do this job pretty much kind of by myself. My husband Joel, he'll help me sometimes with cutting it up. But my kids, they used to have to be, it was like probably worse than a whipping sometimes for them to have to help shuck corn and cut up squash and shell peas. Peas and corn were the main things that we've always put up their whole life. This year I didn't get very much, I didn't get any corn at all. I still have some in the freezer from last year, but Joel had his knee replacement, so I kind of just been really busy and didn't have enough time to, because he helps me with the corn. He'll go get it. We don't pick that either. Used to, we did. We used to go to the field and we would pick corn wherever around here. There's a lot of farmers around here, so we would go and pick the corn if we could, I had the time to do that, and then put it up. And then last year we went and picked some squash. I probably put up 2 or 3 5-gallon buckets of squash in the freezer. So I still have squash. I'm good there too. Because I can't cook all the time. You know, I work a full-time job. Most of you know I work for, I'm a nurse practitioner, pediatric nurse practitioner. I'm a family nurse practitioner, but I work in pediatrics, and I've been doing that for 13 years. So my job is very time consuming as far as, I work a weekend a month. I work 1 to 2 nights a week, just depends. And then of course I work Monday through Friday, half a day's on Friday most of the time. And so it's hard to kind of fit in trying to put up vegetables. But Mom always said they don't wait on you, and that's the truth. That is certainly the truth. Because vegetables, if you don't get the vegetables when they're coming in, then you're not going to get them. So this little basket, I don't know if they can still be found or not, but this basket is stainless steel, and it's a colander, but it's really great for vegetables and fruits. It was my mother-in-law's. She passed away several years ago, back in 2013, I guess. And, but this used to be hers, and I always loved it, and she left a lot of her kitchen stuff to me because she had 2 boys. And so my husband, she knew that I would use it, a lot of her kitchen things, because I did a lot of cooking like she did. So let me know down below if you like okra or not. I think you either like it or you hate it. I'm not really sure that there's anybody that kind of likes it. You either really like it or you don't like it. My children are grown. I talk about them like they're still small children, but they're not. They're grown. People don't realize what kind of work goes into putting up vegetables, but it's really worth it. You know, if you like to eat fresh foods, to be able to put it in your freezer and eat it later during the year, it really is worth it. It's not really hard work. It's time consuming, but it's not hard. I found though that a lot of people just don't even cook anymore. Like they don't cook and have family meals. That was one thing that was really important to me when my kids were growing up, was we always sat, when I was a girl, Mom would cook supper every night. She cooked every meal basically. But at nighttime, supper time was our family time, and so we always sat at the table. And so my kids, whenever I knew that was something that I wanted to bring them up in that way, because I knew of so many, I had friends and I knew of other children that they didn't have that family time, and they didn't grow up sitting at the table to eat. And they would just be either on their own or they would have a plate in front of the TV. And so, but I just wanted to have that with my kids. And so we always have had dinner at the table, turn the TV off, and enjoy talking to each other and finding out how everybody's day went and what their plans were and things like that. Whenever I put it in the freezer, I use freezer Ziploc bags. It's just the easiest thing, and then you can throw them away when you thaw it out. Mom used to use these containers. They were like pint containers or quart containers that you could freeze in the freezer. And I'm not really sure if they even make those anymore. It's so much easier really now to use like the Ziploc bags, the freezer bags. Okay, so now that I have all the okra stems and tips cut off, I'm just gonna slice it. And I usually slice it probably about a quarter, whoops. Probably a quarter to a half inch. I don't know if you can see that very well, about that size. And it doesn't take too long to slice it all. So it took me probably about an hour to wash it and to cut the stems off, and now I'm cutting it up. You do want to make sure that you have a really nice sharp paring knife. My daughter-in-law gave me these for Christmas and I love them. They're, I'm almost certain she got these at Sam's because I have seen them at Sam's. And they come in like a pack of 3, I think 3 or 4. Now some people may be meticulous with how they slice their okra or squash or whatever. I'm not meticulous. It all eats the same way. There are like slicers and things like that for vegetables, but in my opinion, I can sit here and slice this. By the time I get that out and try to, you know, push it across the slicer or put it in one of those things that you pull down, I just soon do this right here. They should cut fairly easy. Like you'll know if you get one that's hard. You just have to throw it away. So funny thing is my husband left a while ago as I was starting to wash the okra and cut it to go get us something to eat. And he seems to be taking a little bit extra long time. It's funny how people scatter when you have things to do. I'm just kidding. He's wonderful. He cleaned the house today while I was at work. He has mopped the floors. He has washed clothes. He has done a lot. And he just had his knee surgery 5 weeks ago.